They say parents are the ones who die to protect you. Mine almost destroyed me to protect their greed. I wasn't born rich. Everything I had, every car, every building, every luxury, came from 15 years of blood, caffeine, and no sleep. I built an empire from scratch. A tech company that turned small-town software into Silicon Valley gold. By the time I hit 38, I had more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. My parents? They loved the spotlight more than I ever could. Red carpets, charity dinners, luxury vacations, all on my dime. And honestly, I didn't care. They were my parents. They deserved comfort. But love becomes dangerous when it turns into entitlement. It started small, my mom asking for a beach house. My dad wanting a private jet for family trips. I said yes. Always yes. Because saying no made me feel like a bad son. Until one day, my accountant pulled me aside and whispered, "Sir, your parents just moved $2 million out of your personal trust." I laughed. I thought it was a mistake. My father was the man who taught me integrity. My mother prayed for me every night. They wouldn't steal. They couldn't. But when I confronted them, they didn't even deny it. My father looked me straight in the eye and said, "We made you. Everything you own should belong to us." That night, something inside me broke. For weeks, we didn't talk. I stopped visiting. I cut the credit cards, froze the family accounts. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. But I had no idea, they were already plotting something darker. 2 months later, I woke up to police sirens outside my mansion. Red and blue flashing through my window. My assistant screamed, "Sir, the FBI is here." Before I could even ask why, they broke my door down. I was handcuffed, shoved into a car, and told I was under arrest for embezzlement, tax fraud, and money laundering. I didn't understand. My books were clean. My records spotless. But when they showed me the evidence, my stomach dropped. There were fake offshore accounts, in my name. Fake signatures. Fake wire transfers. Dozens of them. All pointing at me. And every single document had one common link, my father's digital ID. When they drove me away, I saw my parents standing by the gate. My mother pretending to cry. My father looking calm, too calm. That's when I knew. This wasn't justice. It was betrayal, from my own blood. The next 72 hours were a blur. Interrogations. Cameras. Headlines calling me a fraud. My empire crashed overnight. Shareholders panicked. My company's board voted me out as CEO. The empire I built with my bare hands vanished. I spent nights in a cold cell, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of my life, every dinner, every gift, every sacrifice, and realizing it had all been one-sided love. When I finally got bail, I disappeared. I didn't call anyone, not even my lawyer. The world thought I had given up. But I wasn't gone. I was preparing. There was one person who still believed in me, my old accountant, Miles. He'd been with me since my first paycheck. When he saw the reports, he said quietly, "This isn't your trail. Someone's using your father's signature key. They're framing you." That sentence became my fuel. I moved to an abandoned farmhouse 2 hours outside the city. Set up a small team, a hacker, a private investigator, a lawyer, and Miles. For 3 months straight, we worked like ghosts. Tracking every financial move my parents made. And what we found chilled me to the bone. My parents had used an old power of attorney I'd signed years ago, back when I was expanding overseas. That document gave them limited rights to act on my behalf. They had turned that into a weapon. They opened shell companies in my name. Moved millions through fake accounts. Even created donation trails to make it look like I was hiding funds in offshore trusts. Then, when it all exploded, they reported it to the authorities themselves, playing innocent. Their plan was perfect, I'd go to jail, they'd inherit everything as my legal next of kin. But what they didn't count on was I had built my empire by outsmarting people far more dangerous than them. I let the world believe I was ruined. Meanwhile, I traced their every secret. My hacker found hidden messages between them and their lawyer, even a recording where my mom said, "Once he's in prison, we'll transfer the shares. He'll never forgive us, but who cares, we'll be rich." That was all I needed. 3 months later, I walked into the next board meeting uninvited. The entire board froze. My parents were sitting at the head of the table, laughing with the new CEO they'd installed, my father's old golf buddy. When they saw me, the color drained from their faces. I walked to the front, plugged in a USB drive, and hit play. The room filled with their voices, recordings of them planning every move. The betrayal, the accounts, the lies. My father's voice echoed. "Once he's out of the picture, everything's ours." My mother's laughter followed. "He's too naive. He still thinks we love him." Silence. You could hear a pin drop. Their lawyers froze. The board turned white. The new CEO excused himself and left mid-meeting. And me? I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just looked at them and said, "You didn't just steal my money. You stole my trust. That's something no lawyer can buy back." Within 48 hours, I filed a full lawsuit: fraud, identity theft, criminal conspiracy. Every document was airtight. My parents' accounts were frozen, their assets seized. The same FBI that had arrested me, arrested them. When the news broke, the internet exploded. The same tabloids that had called me a fraud now called me the son who fought back. My parents begged for mercy. My father even wrote a letter saying he was misguided. My mother tried to visit me in court, crying, saying she only wanted to protect the family name. I didn't let them in. They were sentenced to 5 years each. And I rebuilt. Slowly, quietly. My company welcomed me back, not because of my money, but because of my integrity. It took a long time to forgive, maybe I never truly will. But one night, when I stood on the balcony of my rebuilt home, I realized something. Sometimes blood doesn't define family. Loyalty does. I lost my parents that year, but I found myself. And that's worth more than any empire. Moral: never assume love means loyalty, because even the people who raised you might sell your soul for a taste of your success.